Hi, I'm Adam Shiva, and today I want to talk about 3 stages of growth that are talked about both by David Deida and by Tony Robbins. And these 3 stages give us a context for where our relationship decisions are coming from, where our partner might be, which usually is really related to where we are, and for contextualizing how we can empower other people in their relationship process using an understanding that really is contextualized in the sort of playing field that they're actually on right now. So I'm going to get into them. The first stage is about what they call taking. And we often, in that stage, orient towards what we can get from the other person. It's often less caring and more kind of manipulative. The masculine side of that is about seeing our power as related to how much money we make, how much social influence we have as this kind of power over. They simplify that, or David Deida simplifies that as calling it the macho jerk. Whereas the feminine version of that same process is relating one's power to beauty and being radiant to be seen as valuable, not just to shine one's radiance out. That's a later stage of growth, but as a way of manipulating and as potentially, if I'm beautiful enough, then I'll get this powerful man, and that whole, often simplified as this sort of 50s dynamic is the way it's often portrayed. So, in the second stage of growth, the dynamic is the cross-polarized almost. So the men actually are more comfortable with the feminine pole, and the women are more comfortable with the masculine pole. That's more the way that it's focused on in David Deida's explanation. In Tony Robbins' explanation, it connects more to that this is a trading dynamic, that each person is interested in giving the other person what they want, but only as long as they're getting what they want. And it's this sort of a more conscious version of manipulation, because it's not just kind of cheating and taking and tricking, but it's more, NVC, trying to work out communication, but trying to make things fair, not trying to give more than your partner is giving to you. And the way David Deida lays this out often has more to do with that men are more comfortable in their feminine. He calls that the sensitive new age guy, or flowsters, where men are more comfortable playing guitar, smoking cannabis, engaging in really feminine processes. When this man is asked, what do you want to do? He says, I don't know, what do you want to do? He's very accommodating, but also one you can't feel his passion. Often his vision of the world is very mental, in my understanding, and he's less connected to what he wants. And women are more identified in that stage with their drive, with what they're going to create. And often, what I consider early feminism, second wave feminism, is oriented actually into empowering women to be more masculine. It's not actually about empowering the feminine, but because it's saying you can be a CEO and you can drive hard towards a goal, which actually doesn't empower women to be a flowing artistic bastion of energy. It more empowers them to be a highly masculinized, hardened creator in this very kind of mental way. So that actually is a healing from this taking culture that actually those first stage relationships can be violent and unsafe. And the second stage relationship is much safer, but at the same time, it often involves a loss of passion. Because when you feel like someone's a trading partner, you actually don't feel this sort of like passion for them, though that first stage passion can actually be dangerous. So in the third stage, the way it's laid out is orienting towards wanting to give to that person. And as Tony Robbins talks about it, it often is like your biggest priorities become how you can deeply nourish your partner for their greater fulfillment. The way David Deida talks about it is this is kind of like a woman then opens as her natural radiance to be love and light. And a man is able to like live his purpose and be driven, but be driven as a gift to the world, not as a way to prove himself, but actually as a way to be transparently himself. The way this relates to Iron John is that first stage is often associated with the red. And so it's this passion, this fire, but ungrounded and unsafe. The white is fair but depolarized. It's less trustworthy because you can't feel its passion. And the third stage is the synthesis of the two, a greater growth, an ability to experience our whole polarity. As David Data lays it out, this sort of presence is his ideal, whereas this like sitting with one's grief and this ability to sit in humor and grief is Robert Blythe's ideal. Each of those are valuable in their own way and is probably each man validating his own path. So I hope those three stages were really valuable to you. They've been a cool framework for me to look at a lot of patterns in life, and I'm going to keep presenting to you videos connecting these ideas to other ideas in men's work, and I hope this empowers your understanding of self. And thank you for listening to me.